Hello everyone, this is the Excel guy from iLearnExcel.com. In this video we're going to talk about the Excel function or formula called concatenate. Now most people who don't know how to do this formula also don't really know what it's called. It's kind of a strange word, but essentially what it does, it allows you to combine two or more values into a single cell. So a lot of times when I get asked about this, it's usually, maybe like an HR department has exported a list of first names and last names, and it comes into two columns of spreadsheets. Well, they want that first and last name in a single column. So they call up and they say, hey, do you know a way that we can combine all these? And again, it's not usually 6 or 7, because then you could just rewrite it. It's usually, tens or hundreds of values that they just want to systematically combine into a single field and then maybe copy that formula down. So we're going to go ahead and go over that. It's not particularly a complicated formula to do, but you do kind of have to watch your syntax. So you're more than welcome to type this out, the formula in long form, once you become comfortable with it. However, if you've never done it before, if you're not familiar with it, I heavily recommend using the wizard. It kind of walks you through the whole process, and it helps eliminate any potential risk of maybe like just fat fingering a key or something and messing up the formula. So the way it goes is, in this example, I have column A contains a list of first names, and column B is last names. So in column C here, I want to be able to put first and last name. So in order to do this, I'm going to first construct the concatenate function in cell C1. After I do that, and it comes out to the right result, I'm going to go ahead and just copy that down to the rest. So with all formulas in Excel, the way to begin is simply hit the equals key. Now notice I'm going to hit escape to go out of it. Notice where my mouse is right here. If I don't have the equals key, it simply shows where my cell is currently selected, in this case C1. The moment I hit that equals key, it tells Excel that this is a function, so it switches. Now concatenate just so happens to be the top one on my list, because if we scroll this down a little bit, you can tell that this is my recently used formula list. Now if you've never done this before, concatenate's not going to be in there. So you would need to drop this down and select more functions. From here, this is where you can search for all functions in Excel and select the one that you want to do. So from here, because we now know the name of the one that we're trying to do, we'll type in concatenate, just like that. We hit go to search, and you can tell it brought up 2. I don't know why it brings this up, but if you click between them, it tells you what it does. So if I highlight concatenate, it tells me join several text strings into one text string. While I have that selected, just click OK. Now this is the wizard that I was talking about, and it kind of walks you through it, and it does the actual formula on your behalf. All you have to do is fill in the blanks. So text 1 and text 2 is simply asking me which two fields do I want to combine. If I wanted to combine more than 2, I would simply just select text 2 and text 3 appears. So forth and so on. I can just continue to select text 3, text 4, blah blah blah. Now I don't have to use all those if they're blank. It's just simply not going to count them. So no harm, no foul here. However, in this example right now I'm going to use text 1 and text 2. For this example, I want to combine the contents of cell A1 and B1. So I could just, in text 1, type in A1. And notice cell A1 has George, and my result is George. So that's exactly what I want. So in text 2, I could do B1. And now I have George Washington. However, the combined result at the bottom, although that is what I originally wanted, I would much prefer there be a space between George and Washington. It looks better that way. So how would I go about accomplishing that? Well, it's actually very, very simple. You don't actually have to select an individual cell for this value. You can just type in a manual value. It will accept static values. So for example, if I wanted a period, I could just put in a period and B1 down here, and it's George.Washington. Now the reason I did that is because if I highlight over this and I replace that with a space, you can't actually see a space, but it's in there. Now, I don't actually have to type in A1 here either, and in fact I like to tell people not to do that until they get used to it. These little arrow icons to the right of each field is a selector, and instead of typing in A1 here, I can click this one time and notice it goes away. I can select a field and then I could hit enter or return. It automatically puts the right value in there. So that's what I'm going to do here. A1 space, use my selector, B1, enter. That looks right, so I'll click OK. And there you go. So from here, all I have to do is copy it down to the rest. Excel is intelligent. It kind of makes a guess as to what you want to do when you copy it down, so it copies the formula down appropriately. There's multiple ways of doing that. I can Control C for copy and then paste. I could use the copy and paste icons in the top left. Or I could simply put my cursor over this little square in the bottom right corner of the field and see how that changes to a crosshair? If I click and drag that down, it automatically copies the formula down and does the rest for me. So keep in mind when you do this that this is still a formula. If I click here on Kermit Frog, you can see up here it still says concatenate A3B3. What that means is, and a lot of times that might be okay, you just kind of have to really watch it, because if you ever go back and you change one of these values, say you miss key or something, the associated formula will change as well, and a lot of times you don't want that. So what I like to do is, after I get my formula in there correct the way I want it, I'll highlight over it, I will copy, and then I will right click, paste special, select values, and click OK. And see how that kind of translated all of my formulas into hard values, and now they won't change if I did the exact same thing. So that kind of saves you a little bit there. I usually get in the habit of doing that just as a preventative measure. You're working with large spreadsheets. Sometimes you don't know what all you're going to do to it. You may wind up further down the road sorting it a weird way, and then it screws up your formulas. So I get in the habit of kind of copy and pasting on top of it. But remember, that's paste special and then values and then OK. So that was kind of long-winded to show you how to do this, but once you get the hang of it, it can happen quite quickly. And in fact, I'll show you again from the beginning. Equals, if I don't have it in there, more function, concatenate, OK. Text 1 will be that one. Text 2 will be a space. Text 3 will be B1. Click OK. Copy, paste, copy, paste special, values, OK. Alright, that's how to do it. If anybody has any questions or comments, please feel free to comment below. And as always, if you want more information, feel free to visit our website, www.iLearnExcel.com. Thank you.